Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to the Tech Thought. Today I'm going to explore more on the Azure VM properties. So in the previous session, I try to create that VM. Now in this session, we are going to see that what are the properties we can configure it in the VM, Azure VM. Okay, so these are the major topic today we are planning to discuss. One is how to access the VM. Once we create the VM in the Azure portal, how we can access it from our remote or how we can uh, access through the coding. So those things we will see it. And the second one will be Vnet, virtual network, and the subnet. What is virtual network and how we can create the subnet and what is the purpose. So those things we'll explore more on it. The next one will be the network interface. So network interface is nothing but it's a kind of interface which will help us to interact with the outside world. In the sense we can this will help to interact our VM in through the internet. So that is what we will call it network interfaces. Then IP address. So we have different type of IP address and like a private IP address and public IP address. So we'll explore more on it. Then the security part, the security. So once we create the VM, how we can protect it from the outside. Let's say if we are exposing it into the internet, then how we can explore, how we can protect our resources. So okay, all those things we'll discuss more on it in the today's topic. Okay, let's go back. So let me log into that portal. Okay. This is my homepage. So these are my resources which I have created. Okay, so first things I want to highlight here is Copilot. Okay, Microsoft is provided Copilot service here also. Okay, so this Copilot it's especially for Azure portal. So whatever question you have, so you can once you this you can utilize this option. If you have any doubt, it's so most of the things will be self explanatory. So if you have still if you have doubt, then you can use that to Copilot. So whatever doubt you are having, simply you can post it here. Let's say what is DNS. If you want to check, then you can simply uh, you know simply you can post your question here. So you will get answer. And also the document it's wherever you go you create the resources, then by you will get there itself you will get the small description which will explain in detail. Okay, so now let's go for the VM. So I have created one VM. We'll explore what are the options is there and how we can map all those things. Okay, so mostly in the Azure in the Azure portal, so everything will be called as a resource. Okay, so here I created one VM. So VM creation is a simple step. Simply we can click like you can click that create resource. So as I told, all the functionality, all the services which is provided by the Azure, we will call it as a resources. Okay. So these whatever resource we have created, we can access through uh, two option is there to access. Okay, one is a portal, Azure portal. So you can access this portal and you can create and manage these resources, whatever resource you created. Another one will be CLI. It's a command prompt mode, command line mode. So CLI command, you can access this all the resources by using CLI command prompt. Okay, so those things we can, but mostly we will use the portal. Okay, so if you want to create the virtual machine, simple. Just you can click the okay, click the create a resource, then you can select the virtual machine. Then simply you can what are the, it will ask some resource group, all those things, and memory size, and what kind of server OS you want to select, all those things it will ask. Once you provide those things, then it will if you go to the network layer, it will ask if you have any public IP which you want to map, all those things. Virtual network, if you want to create all those things, it will ask. Then once you give all those things, then you can create the VM. But once you create the VM, we want to see how we can protect that VM and how we can utilize it and how we can deploy our application into that VM. So those things are very important. So those things we are going to explore today's session. Okay. So here, just I created one VM. So here, once you create the VM, how we can access it? So we can connect through. Uh, we can connect through that, like remote desktop connections, RDP, remote desktop protocol. We can connect, and you can download the RDP file from there. We can connect it. We can connect this VM, and we can if you want to install anything, you can do that. That is one option. Okay. One Then we have that start and stop button. So currently my VM, I have stopped it, so because currently I'm not using it. Okay, whenever we want, we can start it. Okay, that is something. And if you want to, you can delete it. And so these are the major option. Most frequently we'll use it. Okay. Mm, so this, if you see this VM is under this resource group, as I explained in the previous session. So all the resource will be associated with one resource group. Okay. Uh, so this resource group is mandatory to add any of the resources. My VM is associated with this resource group. Okay, the location, all those things, the basic details, subscription details will be here, and availability zones. One, that means I'm not created any replica, or only one server I have created in one particular data center. That is what we'll call it as availability zone will be one. Then operating system Windows server I have selected for testing purpose. And I selected minimum last one. Okay. Now public IP initially I have not created. We'll explore more on the public IP concept separately. Okay. So here I created one virtual network. Virtual network and subnet. Subnet I have not created. I have created virtual network. Virtual network is nothing but it's a logical network. It's kind of private network which like can be accessed only by that the respective persons. Okay, it's kind of uh, it kind of private network things. Okay, we'll explore more on it further. Okay, here we'll this is that virtual machine details. DNS I have not configured, and virtual network, as I said, I configured it, and IP address and these things and all I'm not configured it. Okay, this is what the memory size, all those things. It's here, it is there, and it is there. Okay, now we'll explore on the virtual network. I want to explain one more thing before going to the virtual network here. So we can configure, like if in case if you want to keep any backup option or something, and we can do that. Uh, let's say for every day we need to take the backup, then we can select that option. Okay. Then we can use Microsoft Defender. Defender. That means it's any potential vulnerability. It's kind of security things. We can define it on VM level. Okay, let's go to that network layer. Here again, the network virtual network is it's again it's we will call it as another resource in the Azure portal. We will this also will call it as a resource, okay, which we can create the network VM virtual network, and we can map it with that our virtual machine. Okay. Now here I'm not configuring any DNS server, which is not required for my use cases. So simply this is what the private IP which I have mapped. Okay, here this network will see that high level architecture here. So how that my VM is it's designed. Okay, so here. This is what the resource is mapped currently. Okay, this is my VM, which right now it's not running it. So that is what it's telling. It is not running. And then the uh, se- second one will be that IP. IP config. It's I have one public IP, so I will tell you when we can use that public IP, when we can use the private IP. Private IP will be a default one. When you create that VM, it will be generated. You can access this VM but by using private IP within the virtual network or in the subnetwork. Okay, so first let me explain what is a virtual network and subnet. Virtual network is a logical logical private network. Within that virtual network, we can create multiple subnetwork. Let's say if you are hosting multiple let's say if you're if you're creating multiple if you're hosting multiple server, then each server you can create a subnet. That is up to our use cases. So subnet will be a subset of virtual network. Okay, so we can create it as per our requirement. Then here the IP address, we will create the private IP with the default, and which is not chargeable. But when we go for public IP it's a chargeable. It's again kind in Microsoft Azure. It is another resource. We have to create, either you can create the public IP and you can map it with your network interface layer. So that your network interface layer will communicate through the internet. Okay, so whenever you want to expose your VM in public, then you have to create the public IP, and also you need to provide required protection security on the IP level. Okay, so those things we have to define. So this will be the public IP which I have created as a resource, and in this the public IP again, I and one more things, again the network interface card I have defined. So this also will be a separate resources. Here everything will be separate resources. Here I have created one network interface I have created, and I mapped this public IP with this. So that means you can my system will communicate to the network through this network interface layer by using this IP. So that is what I configured for now. At a high level, this is what the details. Okay. So these things until I deleted. So I deleted it, and I, it will take some time to repress those things. This will be again, it's a network security group. It's kind of again safeguard. So here we can define what are the port we will allow it for inbound request, and what are the port we will allow it for outbound process. So those things we can define it in that network security group. So this again, it's a part of network layer. So we can define our port. We can enable or whitelist the port or IP. So the only those port will should be allowed to access our VM. Okay, so those things we can configure it. So this is what the high level the VM architecture. Okay, so these the capabilities wise, if you see that network layer, so we can define Azure firewall. Okay, this is a network level we can define. The currently I have not configured. So this we can use it, and then this we have one more DAS protection in the network layer. Then we can configure it again. It's chargeable. So this we can define it either in IP level or in on the VM level. Which the DAS means it's nothing but it's a kind of cyber security attack. How we can protect it? Let's say if you DAS protection means normally they will increase the load when let's say if you are exposing your application into the internet, then the outsider, then what they will do, they will run some script and they'll increase the load. Let's say they will invoke particular open public API in the loop or something they will do. Then they will put more load on the server, and they will make that server should be down, or some actual user is not able to access, so they will make it in that status. So to protect that, we can use these DAS protections, which is provided by Azure already. So these we can configure it. Okay, so that is one thing. And we can create the private endpoint. Means we can create a private endpoint to access and the to directly to access this VM. So this is one way of communicating from on-premises environment to that cloud. So this will help us to create hybrid partially we can run as on-premises and remain whatever things actual things we can run it in that cloud. So this will help us to create hybrid mode uh, environment. Okay, this is the high level. Again, this is a tag we get to identify which, whether it's a test environment, production environment. So we can add a number of tags, key value pairs. We can add it, and then let me go back. So here, as I said, this is a VM, my VM, and this again, it's a virtual network. As I told, everything will be created as a separate resources. Okay, this is a virtual network, and then this will be again a interface card, which is mapped with. Once we create a network interface card, we can map it at VM. So this interface card I already created and mapped with that my VM, and then this will be public IP. When you create the public IP, you can create the public IP. Again, it is chargeable. So based on what kind of um, you know what kind of IP you are creating, whether you are creating a static IP, or it is dynamic IP. It depends on that. The charges will vary. Okay, this IP is associated with this public IP is associated with this interface card. This interface card again it's associated with my VM. So indirectly this we can access that VM by using this IP address. This is a public IP address, and so here we will have option to associate the option. So you can configure, you can associate that that this IP into that any of the server or any of that interface network interface card. And then the other option would be, I think this is like a network group. Again, we have to. It is part of VM creation. So we can define that inbound, outbound security rules. So here what are the inbound request? What are the port we are enabling to accept the request? And the same thing for outbound. These are the port we can allow it for outbound process. Okay, so these we can whitelist, we can enable or disable. So those things we can configure it here, and here we can we can define the protocols we can define, and the port default port we can define, and also we can define the IP address also we can whitelist. So we can here we only the specific IP if you are allowing, then we can give that IP address also here. So this is what the high level. So yeah, main things will be this is what this is what IP for if you are creating VM, then it is virtual network is mandatory, and then IP address it's optional. Public IP address is optional. So once when you are trying to expose any of that service into internet, then you need network interface card and security, public IP. All those things will come into the picture. Otherwise, it's not required. If you are simply you are creating VM and you are hosting it in your internal application, and then that application service is accessed from any of that any other resources in the same virtual network, then it is not required. Any public IP or network interface card is not required. Directly you can communicate, you can access these this VM by using the private IP. Okay, so I think only this much is there in that virtual machine level. So in the next session, we'll try to see the other resources, like how we can create key vault, we can create that key security keys, and how we can keep it in our uh, Azure portal. So all those things we'll explore in the next section session. Thank you, everyone.